Hello guys, so in this video we are going to create a simple night background like this one. So let's get started. So open Inkscape and go to files and select document properties, and in display units just change it to pixels and just untick this show page background. Now select object and click on fill and stroke. So a panel of fill and stroke get activated, and again select object and select align and distribute, and in relative to select first selected. Now let's select the square or rectangle tool here and just click and drag to create a rectangle like this, and select this transform tool here and let's change its dimensions. So let's change it to 1280 and 720. Okay, so now let's zoom in. So holding control and scrolling your mouse you can zoom in. Now let's give it some background color. So let's click on fill and stroke and let's select some darker blue color like this, something a darker greenish bluish something. Let's go to HSL and let's make it more saturated, something like this, and let's give it some gradient. So select this gradient tool here and we want linear gradient, so just click on top and just drag it down. Now selecting this node here, let's bump up its alpha and let's make it light like this, lighter color, little more saturated, less saturated, little more right, okay, more saturated like this. Okay, now just select this transform tool here, right click, duplicate and just reduce its size, and we will make it a ground. So let's change its color, and we don't want it a gradient, so you can see here a linear gradient is selected. We want flat color, so select flat color and select wheel here and let's give it some brown color. So let's select this one like this and let's give it some darker color or light color, little bit light, select more like this, something like this. Okay, now let's go to HSL and I think that's fine, maybe little the darker one, yeah, is perfect, yeah, okay, that's fine. Now let's zoom in, holding control and scrolling your mouse. Let's right click, just select this rectangle here, right click and click on duplicate and let's change its size and make it a little smaller, and let's change its color. So let's select the wheel here and let's select the blue, little bluish color, blue green like that color. Okay, little lighter one like this. You can go to HSL and just change it like this. Okay, let's reduce its size little more. Okay, now it's nice. Next thing you can do is select this bezel curve tool and just make sure snapping is enabled, all these are activated, and let's zoom in and just move your mouse here. You can see an X crosshair here, so just click and it will snap to it. And now what you can do is hold control and you can see the line gets snapped like this with 5 degree or some 15-degree difference, and we want straight down somewhere here, and just make, now let's make it some ups and downs like this, make it, and don't make it far deep, so they look unnatural. Let's little smooth, and we don't want anything deep like that. Let's click here and here, okay, and select this. Done. Now in fill, we want flat color and we don't want stroke, and let's go back to flat color and we want it a darker one. So let's reduce its lightness like this, okay, and saturation little bit, okay. Now select the node tool here and we want to select all the nodes, the middle nodes, this. So click and just drag to select all of them, and we want to make it auto smooth, and just click here and they are auto smooth. We can just adjust them. We can click and just adjust the nodes wherever you can see steep curves like this, okay. Okay, now what you can do is just select the transform tool here and let's right click and duplicate and just bring it down like this. And we want to change its layer, so you can see here, you can click this and it will reduce its layer by one step. And let's make it a different color. Just select the color picker here, select this color here, and we want it darker like this, okay. So you can see now it's done nicely. Now let's create some grass look here. What you can do is select this bezel curve tool and click and just create some spiky shape like this, okay. Okay, and again select this flat color here and we don't want strokes, and let's change its color. So click on color picker and change it to this green one and just drag it here like this. What you can do is right click, duplicate, you can copy paste all of them. Let's change it, let's flip it on horizontal axis, let's rotate it by little and change its size, right click, duplicate like this, right click, duplicate and make this one little bigger, okay. And you can just drag and select all of them, right click, duplicate and just copy them, or you can control D to duplicate again and just paste them like this. And let's make them look little bit different. So okay, let's rotate it. So to rotate, what you can do is select this object and again click on it, so the edges, you can see the arrows changes, and then you can rotate it the way you want. So let's move it down a little bit. Now to give some kind of variation, what you can do is just select this node tool again and select any of one and just change these nodes like this, so you can have some different looking grass like this. Let's change its size, okay. I think that's enough, right? So just click and drag to select. We don't so we selected all of them and we also selected this layer here, so we don't want it, so hold shift and just click on it. Don't want this one, actually this one is selected. Holding shift, click on it, so it get unselected and all of them are selected. What you can do is go to path and click on union, so all of them become a single object like this, and just right click and duplicate and let's bring it down and let's change its color to this darker one, and let's lower their layer by one like this. Okay, and you can just adjust them holding the node tool, and you can just keep on adjusting like this. Pretty simple. You can do this for all of your cross nodes here. Keep adjusting till you get what you want, a better look. So I will not be doing all of them because it will take time, so you can get it what to do. The next thing is, let's make some stones here. So again, select the bezel curve and just create some squares. Let's select the flat color, select stroke, and don't want stroke. Let's select the node tool, select drag and select all, and let's make it smooth. And I want this one lighter than this, or I think that same color, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so created again. You can create some different variations. The one with three corners, and do the same again. One more. Let's give it some different shape like this. It will do the pretty much same, or you can keep it square if you want, like this. So what you can do, let's make it here. This one is here. Right click, duplicate, change its size, rotate. Right click, duplicate, change its size. Control D to duplicate. A keyboard shortcut, Control D to duplicate. And holding Control, just click here and just resize it so it gets resized evenly. And yeah, like that. Let's create some more thing. Let's select this bezel curve again. Click here and just want to create some different variation in ground layer also, so it looks some kind of different. That ground is made up of some different layers like this. Let's select flat color. We don't want stroke, and what we want is little lighter one. Okay, what we can do is, let's select this one and let's make it little light like this, more lighter. Yeah, now it's light. And let's change its layer. So just select this one. This will make it the bottom layer, the most bottom, and then we can move it by one up and one more up like this. And just select this. Now select this background here, this one rectangle, bigger one, and right click and duplicate it. Holding shift, select this one, this which we made before. Go to path and select intersection. So only the path which was within that rectangle is available, and other get discarded. And I think this is looking perfectly nice. I think we can shape it more nicely if you want, or it is looking nice anyway. Okay, let's create one more thing. Select bezel curve again, and let's create some more details to this. Like this. Okay. It's always better to create more details so that the background looks more alive. So we want flat color, we don't want stroke, and we want it a very lighter color like this. I think so. Let's reduce with alpha also. I think I will give it some bluish. No, I don't want bluish. Let's keep it a lighter one and reduce with alpha. That will be enough. Select the node tool and just select all which are in middle and make them smooth. And what you can do is one more thing. Just select this back rectangle here, the ground one. Right click, duplicate. Now holding shift, select this one. Go to path and select intersection. And we want it below our rock, this rocks. So let's select this lowest to change the layer to the lowest one, and let's move it by one and one more time, and you can see they are here. So let's move it this one like this. Okay, so our ground is pretty much done here. So let's make some trees. So to make trees, what you can do is select this Bezier curve again and click, and let's click one more time here, and let's click like this. So create a shape something like this. Okay. We want flat color and we don't want strokes, and select this node here and let's move it in middle, and just drag and select this one, holding shift, drag and select this two also, and we want to select this one too, and we don't want them because we want the edges of this to be pointed and we don't want any curveness here. Now select auto smooth and you can see something, it look like this. So let's move this node up here, just adjust it as we want. You can adjust as per your need here, and let's make it some greenish color. Let's select this color picker and change it to this light green. I think we will make it little bit darker one, and more greenish. Okay, now it's looking nice. Now again select this transform tool, right click and duplicate it, and let's change. Okay, we don't want, just untick the nodes, and now just what you can do is just untick the snapping here, and now let's change its size. So you can just adjust it as per it looks like this. Okay, and let's reduce its size by 1, and let's reduce its layer by 1. So just select this lower selection one step, and let's change its color to some darker green, and I don't want this to be so edgy like this. I want it little bit only. You can just select the node tool and adjust them, and then again click on transform, right click, duplicate, and just again rescale it like this, and then again reduce its layer by 2 times this time, and let's make it little more darker greenish like this. Okay, let's saturate it and select the node tool and just reduce this one again. We don't want this time so much. Okay, now right click and duplicate this and just flip it on vertical, and let's take it up, and holding control select this arrow here and reduce its size, and you can see it reduce, and just rotate it by little. Now let's create some bark of it. So what you can do is select this Bezier curve again and just create some bark. You want little bit thickness at the bottom, Okay, flat color, no strokes, and we want this darker brown color. Let's look nice. Select this bezel curve and let's create some tree branches like this. Same thing again, and we want this one behind this layer, so just reduce its layer by one, and this two also. Okay, so now it's looking nice. Right click, now what you can do is just click and drag and just select all of them and right click them and group them, and let's place it like this. Right click, duplicate. You can just change its size, flip it, or you can make some different, what you can say, change its branches or make some changes by changing the node and make some different types of trees as you can. Okay, just right click, duplicate, holding control and selecting this arrow, you can just reduce its size like this. It's okay, and again it's up right now. Duplicate and just increase its. Okay, what you can do is just click and drag them, select all of them, go to path, go to object and select group, so they act as a one object, and just reduce the layer by one, or you can make them to the lowest and then make it up by one. Yeah, so that we want this branch to come below this layer, this one. Okay, now let's create some, what you call, hills. Select the bezel curve again and just click like this, create some hills. It's pretty easy to create hills. Okay, same thing, and let's give it some darker blue color. I think this one will more saturated. Let's reduce, select the transform tool, make it the lowest layer and increase this layer by one, and click on this background here, right click, duplicate, and just selecting both of them, go to path and select intersection only. I think we want more greenish, or yeah, this one is nice, little more darker or saturated. Adjust them as you want, and let's select the node tool and just select all the middle nodes here and make them little bit smooth, and let's reduce the height, and that's too much. Okay, now just hold control and select this node and drag it down, so it get dragged along the y-axis only. Holding control, you can just drag it on only one axis, which is very efficiently. And let's create one more hill, which will be little more away and little soft. Okay, don't want stroke, we want fill, reduce its layer. Select the transform tool, reduce its layer, so make it the lowest layer and increase layer by one. Let's make it little lighter and more saturated like this. We want this color to be lighter than this, so it looks like it is far behind this one. And let's reduce this alpha also. We don't want it pretty, what you can say, revealing. We want it very fuzzy, so that it doesn't look that it is too close. So click here, right click and duplicate, and we want only path and intersection, so only this one. And let's select the node and select all these nodes, middle nodes, and make them smooth. Okay, now the next thing we can do is let's create some clouds and a moon. So to create a cloud, select this circle and holding control click and drag to create a perfect circle. And let's increase alpha to full, and which color to give, let's select this color picker and let's give it this color. I think we need to increase saturation and little bit darker maybe. Let's see how it looks. So holding control, select this arrow and reduce its size, right click duplicate, and similarly holding control you can reduce its size or increase it. Let's make this shapes like this. I think that's looking perfectly fine, but it is very okay. Now it's looking okay. Now it's looking fine. So the color which we used is this one, less saturated and more lightness. Now let's drag and select all of them, go to object and let's group them, right click duplicate and just place them here and there with different sizes so they give a look of perspective. It looks like they are at a far distance and some of them are at near distance like this. You can always change the shape. So what you can do is, now they are in groups, so you can go to object again and ungroup them and just change the, what I can say, the positioning of these circles and you get a different way. Okay, we did the same thing, don't want the same thing. Now you can see we have a different way. You can just play with it and always try something different. So now let's create a moon. Let's make it a group. Okay, now select this circle tool again, holding control click and drag to create an even circle, and let's give it some yellow color. Okay, let's select it from here. It's too and it's too much. Let's select this one. Okay, and let's reduce its lightness, increase its lightness and make it more saturated. We don't want it too bright. Okay, now it's nice. Holding the transform, right click duplicate and just make it little blur like this. Yeah, that's looking nice. The next thing we have to do is we want some stars here. So just select some circle tool and holding control create a circle like this, a very small circle, and we want it white and we want it blur, pretty good blur, because stars are not don't have any sharp edges like this. And now what you can do is select this circle here and select this spray tool here, and the amount should be 5, the width should be 15 and scatter should be 70, and just click and just move your mouse like this. Okay, now just leave it. Now holding the, click on the transform tool and let's position them perfectly, or we can say evenly like this. Okay, let's, don't want to move the background backward, only want to move these circles here, so be careful while moving it, or you can always undo if you do something wrong. Okay, evenly scattered like this, should not look. Okay, now it's, so I think so it's done. Okay, so guys, you can see here we have created, let's group it, object and group it. Okay, so here we have created a night background. So I hope you like this video and thank you, and I will see you in the next video soon.